On Tuesday, October 26th, 911 received a call from a witness who spotted a horrific accident at Highway 183 at Fort Worth. A silver sedan sped off the International Parkway exit ramp and veered over to a grassy area nearby. There were bullet holes in its windows, and the driver within was non-responsive, sitting with her head and arms in awkward angles. Upon closer inspection, they confirmed she had been shot in her right arm and the right side of her back. Her name was Abigail Saldaña, as per a passport found inside the car. This crime story starts and ends at Rhett's Cabaret, a franchise of lavish gentlemen's clubs with locations spread throughout the U.S. in New York, New Orleans, and Fort Worth, the one we'll be taking a look at today. Abigail Saldaña, a 22-year-old mother who lived with her 1-year-old son, Joseph J., used to work at Rhett's as an exotic dancer. She loved fashion and music, and her mother, Jessica Contreras, described her as being a highly independent woman with an infectious laugh and a bubbly personality. Rhett's Cabaret was visited by all sorts of gentlemen throughout the years, of which 54-year-old software engineer Stanley Szeliga was among the most noteworthy. He had been a recurring customer of Rhett's since 2019, preferring the services of its exotic dancers above all. Abigail met Szeliga during the summer of 2021, at first enjoying his company, but slowly discovering unnerving traits in his character that she'd later regret. Abigail was quick to complain to Rhett's management about Szeliga's behavior. His forceful advances in lieu of the cabaret's rules made her uncomfortable. Knowing that Abigail was a single mother of one, Szeliga convinced her to interact with him out of the safe walls of Rhett's Cabaret. Thus, they engaged in intimate encounters in exchange for money. Stanley Szeliga had a tendency of posting screenshots of conversations with Abigail in his private Instagram, at times highly reflective of his mental state while his relationship with Abigail unfolded. First, a post on July 15, 2021 that reads, "Don't wait until you've reached your goal to be proud of yourself. Be proud of every step you take toward reaching that goal." It's likely that at this point, Szeliga understood that he and Abigail were in a serious relationship, with the goal he referred to being their union. Days before the incident, he posted another image that read, "Do not get upset with people or situations. Both are powerless without your reaction." But things were already getting out of hand when he shared screenshots of his chat with Abigail, plus the payments he sent her, as a way to prove to social media onlookers that she indeed received money in exchange for her intimate services and shame her enough so she'd never come forward to the authorities. Almost all of them were done via Zelle, at times for lower sums of $200, but other times reaching $800 and even $1,000. Szeliga's account was public. Most surprisingly, some of the Zelle payments were made to RCI, the parent company of Rhett's Cabaret. There were also payments of $2,600, $2,474, and even one of $5,360. There were also 2 ATM withdrawals of $500 each, possibly money he had handed to her in cash for interactions they had out of Rhett's Cabaret. All conversations took place on iMessage. In another screenshot shared by Szeliga, Abigail asks her why he only gave her $1,000. She frequently used the word babe and implied that he was going to take care of her, reflecting a possible sugar daddy and sugar baby relationship. He corrects her by sending her the screenshot of one payment of $1,000 via Cash App and another of $2,000 through Zelle. He shared other screenshots that seemed to hint that Abby owed him money, or that he requested her to return the money, which seems more likely. In another screenshot, he references an erotic dream of themselves engaging in intimacy, with her replying that dreams do become reality. In this screenshot, she had also sent him an Apple Pay request for $2,000. In another post Szeliga made on his Instagram account, he shared a screenshot of an iMessage conversation between him and Abigail. In this conversation, allusions to their sexual experiences together are discussed with much enthusiasm between the both of them. While Abigail received Szeliga's money and shared intimacy with him, she kept repeatedly complaining to her workplace that his behavior was out of hand. At some point, she discussed this issue with her mom, who urged her to take matters into her own hands and go to the police. Finally, Abigail put a stop to their relationship, prompting Szeliga to once more post screenshots of his conversations with her. He also posted screenshots of a conversation with Abigail on iMessage, where she berated him for actually thinking she enjoyed his company and admitted that she never did. She called him a trick to everyone and requested for him to leave her alone if he wasn't willing to pay her and that they had nothing to talk about. However, she also mentioned that if he wanted to return to Rick's Cabaret, he'd have to bring $3,000 for her, further hinting that their relationship was completely transactional and that she had no feelings towards him. He replied by saying that she had just admitted to being a prostitute, and then sent the definition of the word trick, which is said to be any man who lets women use him for his wallet. He captioned the post with, "A woman that can be bought isn't worth having." From this point onwards, he publicly claimed that Saldaña was a prostitute, despite prior screenshots indicating that their relationship was more of the sugar baby, sugar daddy type. Later, Abigail made an Instagram post with a very concerning caption and showing a video of a tracking device that had been placed on her car. She captioned the video, "Check under your car, ladies. This is no joke, and sometimes you think it will never be you." She mentioned in the video how she really didn't know how to move forward with that knowledge. This was 2 weeks before her murder. She had gone to the police with the tracker, but they didn't imagine that Szeliga was capable of far worse than just stalking. Rick's Cabaret's managers provided the police with Szeliga's phone number, which was also linked to the Instagram account that he had used to post the screenshots of Abigail's payments. Using this information, they uncovered some of Stanley's most disturbing behaviors. The first of these was Stanley's obsession with who Abigail followed and engaged with on social media, specifically Instagram. He took screenshots of posts of other accounts that Abigail had liked. The first of these, posted on October 20th, 2021, read, "A, go and worship the ground I walk on, or get thee out of my face." Simple. He captioned it with, "Ouch." After that, he shared another post. "And if you're riding with me this summer, make sure you single. I'm not turning down the music because you keep calling trying to see where you at." This one had no caption. By this point, Szeliga seemed to have caught feelings for Abigail, which were growing more and more obsessive. He called himself her boyfriend, and saw himself as a victim of her rejection. In another post, he says, "I never thought I'd be one of those guys taken advantage of. Sharing for awareness. Abigail S. and I, since July 2021, we have been enjoying each other's company." He called her beautiful and personable, but in the same sentence complained of being overwhelmed with her lies. In another post, he says, "If you only leave your second job, being in a high-end prostitution ring, we can move forward. Yes, this pays $2,000 per session, but it's illegal." Additionally, the caption read, "Folks, always verify that the receipt given to you at a club or bar is correct. Mine was incorrect, I still signed." Next, Szeliga shared a screenshot of another of these posts that read, "I need a that's gonna choose me over his family, 'cause blood ain't thicker than this fat." Since Abigail had liked the post, Szeliga took it further by commenting, "Damn, Abby, thought it was family first." Despite his attempts to get her attention, Abigail was adamant in her no-contact rule. Still feeling the sting of rejection, Szeliga shared a picture of Abigail with a mildly revealing attire on October 24th without her consent. Though he wanted to get a reaction out of her, she also ignored this attempt. By this point, Szeliga had already parked his car in front of Abigail's apartment no less than 5 times in the span of 12 days, waiting for her to come down. 2 days passed, and then tragedy took place. Come Tuesday 26th, Abigail skips work and stays with her son for most of the day. Szeliga made a new post in the afternoon, disclosing that he had paid her $3,000 and threatening to report her for alleged prostitution. Prostitution being illegal in the state of Texas, it seemed to Stanley as the perfect opportunity to coerce Abigail into replying to his text. It's unclear what she had gone out to do, but she contacted her mother with an undisclosed text at around 6:30 p.m. After driving her silver Hyundai sedan towards Highway 183 of Fort Worth, Abigail realized she was being followed by none other than Szeliga in his red pickup truck, as per footage from nearby traffic cameras supports. Szeliga had been tailing her ever since she left her apartment. Szeliga shot Abigail's car 3 times, forcing Abigail to speed off the exit ramp. Szeliga left the scene, and after 17 minutes, nearby witnesses decided to call 911. Officer R. Smith arrived at the scene, where he spotted Abigail's car riddled with 3 bullet holes and her unresponsive body with gunshot wounds. 3 shell casings and pieces of broken glass were found at the intersection of Amon Carter Boulevard. Confirming her identity with her passport, the investigators went inside Rick's Cabaret and spoke with the manager, confirming that Abigail worked there with them and that she had already reported Szeliga's behavior. With Szeliga as the prime suspect for her murder, the police contacted him. Szeliga agreed to meet with detectives after the murder, but he was a no-show with the excuse that there had been a death in his family and that he was busy with other commitments. The police obtained a warrant to enter his home the next day to be executed by Fort Worth SWAT officers before midnight, October 27th. Szeliga still refused to come out, forcing the police to go inside. There, they'd be met with a shocking scene. Szeliga was riddled with self-inflicted wounds, standing over his balcony. Police seized him and took him to a nearby hospital. Szeliga was trying to take his own life after knowingly murdering Abigail. Although he was swiftly attended to for his injuries, police also obtained an arrest warrant to try him with, and he was ultimately charged with murder as soon as he was released from the hospital. He was held in the Tarrant County Lon Evans Correction Center in Fort Worth on a $250,000 bond for murder. From all accounts, Abigail was doing everything possible to provide for her young son. Szeliga seemed to think that by paying Abigail for his services, he was not only entitled to whatever they had agreed on, but also to her person. He thought he owned her completely and that she had no privacy. Abigail, for her part, always made it clear that theirs was solely a business transaction and nothing more. Abigail's mother, Jessica, was devastated at both the loss of her daughter and the bleak reality of her grandson growing up without her mother. Abigail was not an object Szeliga was entitled to, although Szeliga wanted to believe that she was. At least justice has been served, and Szeliga is now behind bars for his crime.